Wrong one.
Yeah.
And the food there was good.
Yeah, it was good.
The breakfast in the hotel was really good. McDonald's, incredible.
Can't go wrong with good McDonald's away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here comes TikTok.
Here comes Tony.
Listen, mate, take your fame over there. Yeah.
Some very
They were
fancy
hard to
shoes.
put on.
They were brand new second hand.
So, hello and welcome to What's Up with Zoo, a podcast all about nature. I'm your host, Harry. I'm joined today by a panel of guests here, quite fascinatingly. We've got a bunch of explorers who, surprisingly, are very relevant tonight. So tonight here at Wingham Wildlife Park, we have a special event all about Vietnam, the conservation we are doing down in Vietnam as well, and the ex situ and in situ conservation we are a part of. But before we get too further ahead of ourselves, let's introduce our guests. So we have Luke, we have Markus, and of course we have Scott. So very quickly, do you mind introducing yourselves and what you do here at the park? We'll start with Luke at the end over there.
He's going to love that.
Introduce myself.
Yeah.
Luke, yeah, I do all the maintenance.
I mean, you undersell it a little bit. That's an important job.
Yeah.
You've got to look after the park. If the cages fall down, the animals are getting out.
Yeah.
Or the bits and pieces like that. So it's an important job. Don't undersell yourself.
Yeah,
Markus, what about you? What are you up to?
I'm the curator, so I do most of the boring paperwork that no one else wants to do. And that's the sort of general gist of it.
Oh, you guys are going to be the top-notch undersellers of your job.
Wait till he starts. He's just a calculator.
Well then, let's get on to it. Scott,
You got your
what are you up
notepad
to?
out, mate.
I'm Scott and I'm the finance director. So I look after the park's finances.
Important jobs, all of them. I mean, without these three and without all the other members of a park, the park can't run. We like to think of keepers as being the main sort of job people think about when they come to a zoo. But of course, without you guys, there's not going to be a park to look after. So it is important to have you guys. But the reason why you're here, not just to sell your life stories, which you've done amazingly, is Vietnam. What's the interest in Vietnam for Wingham? Why did we choose Vietnam to be a conservation concern for us?
Vietnam for us was we didn't sort of find it. It sort of found us. So we were working with the World Land Trust. We've been working for them for years now, and we've always been specifically supporting their project in Vietnam.
Right.
And it got to a point where we wanted to do a little bit more rather than just sending money to Vietnam, because in our silent aviary, we collect money for the World Land Trust. And rather than just sending the money over there, we wanted to have a partner in Vietnam and do sort of on the ground work as well. So that's when we partnered up with Viet Nature and to work on the crested argus. So we've had the Vietnam pheasant for many years now, which is sort of extinct in the wild. And Vietnamese crested argus is heading the same direction. So
important conservation work. These birds are stunning. The beautiful Vietnamese pheasants, the lovely blue on the males. Is it more brown on the females as well?
yeah, like most
Your
female
pheasants,
pheasants,
yeah.
they-
The males sort of steal the show, unfortunately. Yeah. And the crested argus, that's famed for its beautifully quite long feathers, isn't it?
Yeah, so it is, I believe, has the longest tail feather in the bird world, possibly the Reeves pheasant.
Yes, it's
One
one,
of them
one
two.
of the longest, yes. So it's a beautiful bird, definitely worth getting involved with in conservation. But that comes to the kind of meat of the subject. So you guys, we obviously, lots of zoos, they have sort of ex situ conservation projects as well as in situ conservation projects. I mean, you can't have a zoo without animals being taken out and being raised away from their native environments. But why do you think that it was important for you guys to go and see Vietnam for yourselves before you embarked on this important mission to kind of look after these species?
I mean, partly so we'd met all the guys from Vietnam sort of on the phone and things like that. So partly it was just to make sure they're not stealing all our money.
That's why I went.
Yeah, a big concern, to be fair, yes.
But no, I mean, honestly, they're such nice people. They're really, really nice people. And it was just to see firsthand what they're actually up against. Because I mean, Luke's biggest complaint about Vietnam is...
Oh, come on, Luke.
Animals.
Exactly.
Yeah.
There's no animals.
Is there none at all?
Not really, no.
Oh.
Not even a bird.
That's a big surprise, because I
Lots of
imagine...
leeches.
Yeah. Leeches, that's
yeah.
about
Yeah.
it.
At least in the area where we were, there was nothing. Even at night, it was silent.
Well,
Silent.
Well, it wasn't quite silent. There was a couple of motorbikes racing in,
Oh,
in, the,
okay.
in the hammocks. Marcus and Luke decided to wake the whole jungle up.
so not
Sleeping as a
not
man.
the sounds of nature that you might be expecting if you go to a beautiful place like this, because
No.
Vietnam's quite a popular destination for tourists, and I would assume nature would be a big part of it. What was your impression, Luke, when you first arrived? Were you had this big anticipation that it's going to be a beautiful country, and then was it cut short almost?
Yeah, so I thought it was going to be like a lot of wildlife, but it was pretty much silent. Like not even birds.
Not even. I mean, that's the whole point of going to visit them.
Yeah.
Did you get the same impression, Scott? Did you?
Yeah, it was. There was when we was going through the jungle. There was no. When we joke, the leeches were what was there.
It was going that quick, mate. How did you even see
Yeah.
anything?
I left them two at the back. But, yeah, I don't like to walk slowly, but yeah, I was trying to get away from the leeches.
I reckon you was scared.
Yeah, probably.
So you spent quite a long time in Vietnam to kind of suss out different areas, including the people you eventually come to be working with as part of this conservation project. How long were you there for?
It was 10 days-ish.
12, wasn't it? Well, 10 in
with
day travelling.
travel,
Yeah.
And how much of that time were you kind of in the jungle, as you would say?
So we spent a full day trekking out, and then most of the day trekking back the next day. So it was one night. Then we spent a night in the ranger station. That's where all the real animals came out with crates of beers.
Yeah,
One crate of beer for everyone. Luke sent a little man on his moped all the way. He was gone for about 2 hours to come back with a couple more crates of
An
beer.
important mission. To be
Luke told him that he'd drink one of them on his own. So
it's very important.
And then we spent another day with a tourist company, which we thought, oh, that would be a piece of cake.
when Marcus needed a helicopter to get out.
I was begging for a helicopter.
Oh, really? Oh, God. What did they get you to do?
Just walk.
Just walk.
But it was all uphill.
Oh.
And then I had this guy going, oh, it's all in your head. No, it's in my legs. It's not in your head.
No, it's hard work.
You got to lift out the jungle the first time as well. You got to back it up.
Yes,
Didn't
you got
you,
a
the
little-
moped.
I remember seeing the
And
video.
I paid for that dearly.
Yeah.
Oh, when we found him,
So he disappeared.
and you found him with drinking with a man, didn't he, with no teeth?
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
had to take his shoes off outside.
But I weren't happy with that either, because then I was flicking leeches on the floor. He didn't like that, because obviously that's his house. And then he kept offering me this booze, and it was in a Coke bottle, but it wasn't Coke. And then he had a swig, and he gave it. I was like, oh,
Sharing
no.
the same bottle.
Yeah, it was.
You still got a lift.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, I wish I
you
hadn't.
cheated a little bit there.
To be fair, I had to walk a fair bit because
See,
it
cheaters
struggled to
don't
go up one of the hills. So he
you have
told
to
me
push
to
it?
get off. No, he told me to get off and
Meet me
meet
at the
him
top.
at the top. But
A
yeah.
little bit envy between Scott and Luke. Are you okay? He got away with that?
Oh no, we were
Oh,
fine.
No, it's good. He can get on the back of a moped. Oh, I'm good to walk.
So when it came to, now that you've been away from Vietnam for a little bit and you've had time to maybe reflect on it, was there anything that's probably surprised you the most? Maybe not necessarily nature, but it could be the culture as well. Was there anything that really kind of stood out to you?
Yeah, the food they eat.
The food.
It was really nice.
There was nothing nice about a chicken neck in a salad.
Oh yeah.
So we, to be fair, so
Spell it out, mate.
yeah, no,
That was the night before the jungle,
what was I
wasn't
say?
it?
To be fair, so we went on a cruise in Halong Bay, which was incredible, and
Yeah.
the food there was good.
Yeah, it was good.
The breakfast in the hotel was really good. McDonald's, incredible.
Can't go wrong with good McDonald's away.
Yeah. We went to Hawaii where we had KFC. It was eaten with a knife and fork, but it was good. But
Very
then all of the
fancy.
local food,
Yeah.
it's
Horrible.
I liked
I
it.
don't want to say horrible, but it just.
It's funny because the start of the journey, they didn't think I would be the one eating it. They thought I'd be
And
complaining.
he wasn't eating the nice food.
And I was eating it.
On like the cruise, he was like, "Oh no, what's that? Spring roll for breakfast? No, thank you."
But then I was eating it all.
But it
I
was
had chicken soup at the monkey station, didn't I, for breakfast?
To be fair, because we went to a lot of rural areas. I mean, they have to make do. That's why I don't want to say it's horrible because I mean they have to make do with what they've got. But it's when. Because we were promised that we were being taken to the local equivalent of KFC, and it was not. So I literally bit into a chicken's throat.
Oh.
It wasn't like air pipe.
Is that the place he
Oh,
got stuck in the
gosh.
chair when he got up on the chair? He was
that's-
stuck on his back.
Yes,
That
it
was
was.
a
Yes,
different one.
it
No, that was a
was.
different
No, it
one.
weren't.
That was
in
the
the
same
street.
one, wasn't it?
No, it wasn't. That was the little
Oh no, it was the
chairs.
street one.
That was the one in the street where that was nice food.
Was that twice then? That's twice when you got stuck in a chair.
Some
Got up,
traditional
he's walking
rural
around with
cooking.
a tray on his back.
yeah.
As well, it relates to that conservation, this rural cooking, doesn't it? Because, of course, for those who are not too familiar with their history, I'm sure, but it's one of the biggest wars in more recent memories, the Vietnam War with America. And of course, that actually had a huge knock-on effects after the war and after they had left. So do you mind explaining, because I remember reading a little bit of research about it, Agent Orange was a big factor in causing huge problems for them. Pardon, sorry?
Absolutely horrible.
Oh, horrible.
It's so what it was designed for was for stripping the forest.
Okay.
So it's a defoliant. So it was designed to just get rid of the forest. So from a conservation perspective, it's you couldn't ask for anything worse in a war zone anyway for us, because it strips the habitat for the animals, it kills the animals that are underneath. But the worst thing about it is that also it was killing all the people. And when it wasn't killing them, it was going in their water, and they had kids for generations being born with defects, and then we were being told stories about
Is that when they were playing with the
landmines and
grenades?
grenades. Yeah, they play catch with grenades, not knowing what it is.
Gosh, really?
And this was like 15, 20 years later. So yeah, it had a huge impact. But also afterwards they had tariffs put on them by everyone, and so a lot of the people there, they just couldn't afford to eat. So they've had to go into the forest, and I think you can't really blame the people in the forest. It's the people who destroyed their forests, and then also there's some animals that are still getting captured and things for the pet trade and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They're the ones that we need to.
Yes, so it's a great example because I think a lot of people, they look at these kind of countries with these environmental problems and they think it's all their fault, their choice. But in this is actually a great example was where some might be exploitative and are definitely doing, as you said, for the pet trade, it's more of a pursuit of money. There is a survival aspect to this.
Yeah.
They had to
got no
eat
choice.
what they could find.
No.
Yeah. Did you see examples of this when you were going through exam?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say we did on the way out, didn't we? We see there was a group, weren't there, with the dogs,
Yeah.
and they'd been hunting, and the rangers that were with moved them on, didn't they?
Yeah, because they looked like they needed to get some food.
Yeah.
And that was the only way they were going to get food.
But also, I mean, they said that it was that they were there for snails, didn't
I was
they? And
gonna
they
say, I
said there's
thought
no way you don't need dogs to get snails.
Yeah, that's a bit
They're
of
not allowed to
overkill,
take
really.
Dogs in anyway, are they?
No.
Yes, they're not allowed the dogs in anyway.
But
gosh.
to be fair, they looked like they had no choice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a family from the village up the thing. And one of the things which they said was that if we just arrest them all, we don't have their support, you're never going to get on top of the problem anyway.
Yes. So it's a kind of, you can't really win in these sort of situations, which is why it's helpful to have this kind of external support where you can help in ways which maybe the local people can't. So this kind of brings up sort of the work that you were doing. So you went to meet some of the rangers that go out and basically protect these forests where hopefully some of these animals still remain. What were the rangers like? Were they good people? Were they very knowledgeable of their home? And how did they kind of get into this sort of work?
Yeah, they're really nice people, lovely people. Most of them didn't speak very good English. I think there was only one who spoke good English, and then a couple of the younger ones knew a little bit of English. So we didn't get to know them all that well. But no, really nice people. But also it's a dangerous job. So sadly, I think it was a month or so before we went, wasn't it? One of
In
the
the
rangers
November, wasn't it, I think?
actually, one of them fell over in the river and got swept down and
Oh, gosh.
and passed away. So it is a dangerous job. But it's something which, I mean, they do very passionately. So when they're out there, they're sometimes out in the forest for a week or so, and it's tough living out there.
Yeah, we
It's
went
not-
up in one of the little treehouse things, didn't we?
Yeah, I thought they said they're in there for 3 weeks and back out. I'm sure it was 3 or 4 weeks they're staying individually.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a long period of time they stayed.
It might be that was it 3 weeks at
I
like
think
the station, and
station,
then they go
come
out.
back out.
Yeah.
No, I think it was. I'm pretty sure it was 3 weeks.
So as you were saying, you had this group of people with the family that they want to obviously get respect with because the local people help support these rangers. Do you think that the rangers are supported quite well by the local communities?
The rangers are the local community.
Oh, right.
So the work that we do, we actually have we employ a local community ranger So they do some of the sort of lower level work, so they're not doing sort of species identification and things like that. But they're supporting the rangers, and they are people from the local community. So without them,
It's got to be from the local, isn't it?
yeah,
Right.
It has to be the local people to do it.
yeah.
We used the local people as well, didn't we, to help us take in the stuff, didn't we, into the where we were staying.
It sounds so bad. We paid them.
That's what I'm saying. That's
We
what I mean.
used
When we
them.
The
use
people
it,
that
no.
carried our bags.
Yeah, like, yeah, and
We
they,
had our own bags.
The porters that you run with.
yeah, I was running with them and nearly knocked myself out. I forgot I'm a bit
It
taller.
was more like tiptoeing.
They were
than
running from you.
Yeah.
So, as I was saying, they are part of a local community then. But is there any groups within Vietnam that dislike the Rangers? I'm guessing maybe the more pet tradey side of people are not a fans of it.
I mean, that's also the local community. So the guys that we were working with, most of them, I mean, they're local, but not right on the edge of the forest. But then you've got also the people that live right on the edge of the forest, and they have to sort of weigh up between helping out the rangers, doing what they want, and also then sneaking into the forest when they're not about. Because they are, I mean, what was it, 2 hours from the city on the car?
Yeah.
So it's a good 2 hours. And most of them, they haven't got cars and things, so it's not easy for them. But they did have a shop in that village, didn't they?
Yeah, because you remember we was looking for ice cream, so we couldn't. And then the young lad went off on his moped, come back. He didn't even take the money off us. Whoa! And then he went off on his moped and come back with a bag full of ice creams for us. And then we give him the money after.
Yeah.
Here comes TikTok.
Here comes Tony.
Listen, mate, take your fame over there. Take your fame over
So for
there.
those who don't know, this is Tony. He's the owner of the park. He come to pop in on the podcast.
What?
Three Musketeers and
A little bit, maybe.
one. Always comes in and ruins
Yeah,
everything.
just making sure we're doing a good job, I guess.
Ruined it right from the start.
Can you go over there? You're going to get the sack.
Everyone left with the birds.
Well, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no one's interested in your birds anymore.
Yeah.
Now, we've probably got only time for one more quick question before we have to take a short break because we've got some lovely dancers coming up soon. But very quickly, so you went obviously trekking through the forest, and there's some lovely videos of them going through it. I couldn't help but notice the shoes you were wearing, the sandals. Do you mind explaining those? The lovely red sandals you were wearing.
Scott
Luke picked them.
loved them.
Luke picked them out.
Scott was a massive fan.
Well, we went out and bought shoes, waterproof shoes, that we thought we were going to be wearing through
We
the
did.
jungle.
Yeah.
And
Second one.
Marcus didn't tell us about that we would be wearing gel sandals that
right.
little girls wear to the beach through the jungle. So
Suited you, Scott.
You loved it.
I liked them.
loved it.
It was nice.
So the reason why they use them is
They don't hold
the
the balls
main reason. Yeah, that's the main, which is what we discovered.
right.
So when we went in on the more commercial one, Luke and I, we wore our own shoes, which were way more comfortable in terms of support.
Right.
Because those gel things have got no support.
Oh, right.
But they dry out really quickly.
I see. So if
and
you're trekking through water, it's very helpful.
Yeah.
Yeah, so half the time we were in water up to our knees or our
Yeah.
waist.
Yeah.
So I mean, they were definitely, they had their use.
It didn't look very good, but they worked well.
Yeah.
Very
I wore them on the second one, didn't I?
Yeah, you wore
You
them.
still
loved
got them, haven't you?
Yeah. I brought them home with me. Yeah.
Just underneath the table there.
I should have brought them back with me. They were maroon as well, weren't they?
Yeah.
Maroon,
Yeah.
Some very
They were
fancy
hard to
shoes.
put on.
They were brand new second hand.
I had to move my belly around all sorts of places.
You have
to get it
to,
on.
you have to do that to put anything on,
That's
mate.
the only time the
Yeah.
leeches got me when I was taking them off.
Blame me for that. Oh, you flick your leech on me.
One of Marcus's leeches got me. They'd been hitchhiking.
Always some more passages to bring up. Now we're going to take a short break for those lovely dancers who will be here in the park for the night, and we'll be back with some more interesting stories from these lovely guys and more about the lovely conservation that we're now a part of.
You love that
Marcus
button.
and his
don't you?
button.
So,
Marcus loves a button.
you can't help but press that button.
Child.
I think it's just an inner man thing, just to see a big red button and push it at some point. Welcome back, though, to What's Up with
He's
Zoo.
going to do it
We've
again.
got- I wouldn't be surprised. We're joined now with Tony, of course, the owner of Wing and Wildlife Park.
Of course.
He's come to see that we're doing a good job on our podcast, and hopefully that we're answering the right questions. But just between the break, I heard of a little rumor whilst you were on your trip in Vietnam bit of karaoke action. Scott, do you mind elaborating a little bit?
I don't even remember any karaoke.
I do.
I think that's a lie. Come on.
Did you have a karaoke night?
No, I think we did sing a few songs around the
I wouldn't
bonfire.
I wouldn't be that surprised if he didn't remember the karaoke. There was a lot of beer that night.
I mean, when in Rome, as they say.
Yeah, we had one crate between us.
Tony not probably pleased that they're spending all that time probably partying rather than doing conservation work.
That's a part of conservation work, isn't it?
Building friendships.
Building friendships,
Building
yes, of
friendships.
course. Because that's obviously a big part of it. As you said, actually, in some of your blogs on it, a lot of the time you're just sending money over to these kind of conservation projects, and it's kind of faceless. You don't know the people that are working hard trying to protect these animals. It's just money overseas. Do you think that changed your opinion on how their conservation works?
I think the best thing that we did with them was to partner with an actual local partner, because I think they're a little bit more accountable, and you can see a little bit more of what they're doing. Whereas what we do with the World Land Trust, okay, it's a really, really good organisation. We actually went to see the reforestation project with the World Land Trust, and it's amazing work. But also because it's such a big organisation, you do sort of worry a little bit more about how much that money is going towards directors and all that sort of things. Whereas with Viet Nature, we literally saw everyone who worked there, the entire company.
So now it's far more personal. Do you feel more connected to them, Scott?
I do, and I think when we was talking about the karaoke, that was at the Monkey Ranger Station, and they, even with the rangers, they brought in, when we was all having food, they brought in all the wives of the rangers that are actually currently stationed out to have food with us all. So it was quite, like they were actually engaging with everyone.
But speaking of the Rangers and their sort of more day-to-day lives, Luke, do you want to elaborate? Do you know what the inner workings of a day-to-day life of a Ranger in Vietnam is?
Yeah, Luke.
Why are you asking me questions like that?
Well, you were there. I was
We
hoping.
asked you not to answer him.
Yeah,
Marcus used their toilets when we was out there.
I
They
don't
just carry your stuff around, don't
They,
they?
they sit around all day, making sure that no one's there.
Do you remember,
Pretty much.
Do you remember Marcus found their toilet though?
Oh, elaborate, please. I want to hear a bit
found
more.
it
Well,
once.
Marcus stand in it, didn't he?
Standing it.
Marcus lost his new role.
They do though, don't they? They sit for a long period of time, pretty much doing nothing but making sure no one's there. So
I mean, they've got the patrols, but a lot of it, especially at the ranger station, like when the second one we saw, a big part of their job is to sit on a pontoon thing overlooking the river, because they said that what happens is that suddenly they'll look over and there'll be massive logs coming down the river.
Oh, right.
Where they've chopped them down.
Gosh. Oh, so just the legal trade of deforestation.
Yeah.
But that actually brings up a great question, actually. So obviously here we're about the crested argus and we're about the Vietnamese pheasant. But this sort of conservation work, which we're going to be a part of, it's not just helping them; it's helping other species that share their habitat. So do you mind explaining how helping one species can actually help a lot of different species?
So we're using the crested argus as like our flagship, because we've got the Vietnam pheasant, which in that area, so in the wild, full stop, is now extinct. So you can still see them in zoos. But the crested argus is still alive and well in that area. So we've got camera trap footage which shows them in that forest. And that camera trap footage, what that also does is it lets us do surveying for other species, for human interaction in the forest, all those sorts of things, which will then also give us a much better understanding of how safe that forest is for Vietnam pheasants to be released back into that habitat. And there's lots of other species there, various sort of cows, because we never saw any of the cows, but we saw evidence of the cows all the time.
Stood in a few cow packs.
But they're like small, wild species. They're not particularly tall. Various wild boar, all those sorts. They're all species that live there.
Yeah.
That we can support with doing that surveying work. And obviously, when we're doing getting rid of the traps, like the when we're getting rid of the what are they called?
Snare traps?
Yes. That obviously that's not just helping the pheasants; it's helping all the species.
So speaking of the camera traps, as you mentioned, this is probably where Wingham comes into its own. This is what the project is all about, providing these camera traps so that they can scan greater areas of the forest and make sure that it is safe for these species. Do you mind going into, Scott, I'm sure have you seen these snare traps? How do they work and why are they so bad for nature?
With the snares itself or
Yes.
the camera traps that we were putting
The
up?
snares itself, because what they're trying to do is obviously they're making sure that animals are there, but they also to find these poachers that are putting out these snare traps, am I right?
Yeah, so the rangers are going around and removing the snares because a lot of the time animals are getting captured and they're dying. So, and that's where the camera traps come in brilliantly. That we went out because we got up and actually went and put camera traps out, didn't we? So we went out and put around. They showed us where they clear the site and put the camera trap up, and then obviously that helps to catch.
How useful are these camera traps? Would it be easier to have just more rangers, or is there something about the camera traps which works better?
Well, I suppose with the camera traps, the animals are not being disturbed, are they? So they're passed through freely.
Yes.
And where some of the animals in the areas are quite elusive, so you probably wouldn't see them.
And I guess also it means that if people are passing by, a ranger's going to probably, I hope, scare them off, so they're not going to do these illegal activities. But a camera trap can, I guess, that they can find out these kind of people and then target them later.
No,
no.
so that's
Yeah.
the biggest problem with people is that obviously because it is illegal and there is potential for jail time and the fines are massive. I mean, he was trying to figure them out on his calculator, wasn't he?
They were
Trying to
huge,
Figure
weren't
out
they?
what they were.
Yeah, they were huge, the fire.
That as soon as any locals find them, because 9 times out of 10, what they're doing in the forest is going to be illegal. There's not many things that they can do other than go for a little stroll that they can legally do there. So what they do is rather than run away or anything, they'll take the camera trap, they'll smash it up so you can never use it again. They'll take the SD card out, throw that in the river, and it's that camera trap. If it gets found by a poacher, it's gone, done.
Oh, right. So it's quite an expensive adventure to try and put these out and try and help people. Is there a reason why you wanted to help this particular aspect of their conservation, bringing camera traps to them?
I think that at least to begin with, it's the best way to figure out exactly what's there.
Right.
And then also it's going to be helping the Vietnam pheasant as well. So we went to see the breeding centre for the Vietnam pheasant. So we saw it before. The only building that was up was the education centre, wasn't it?
Yeah, there was no cages.
And that's coming on quite nicely now. I've seen pictures of that. But yeah, that's the camera traps are a start for us. So we've signed up for a 5-year project, but that's just the start of that project.
Right. And so now, because you've now seen this lovely forest now, and did you? I remember seeing in the lovely blog that you did go to the zoo to at least see the crested Argus. Scott, Scott. I think I've asked you a few 2 questions. Luke, what's your opinion of the lovely bird now that you've seen it? Because there must have been a little bit of hype about it because the project is about seeing these birds. What was your opinion when you first saw it?
It's a stunning bird. It's a big bird.
They're surprisingly big,
It's
aren't they?
surprisingly big for a pheasant.
Because obviously you didn't get to see it in the wild.
We didn't see anything in the wild.
No, as
Apart from
as
leech.
you've been saying.
We did.
Yes.
What did we go and see? We got up
See a
early,
leech?
didn't we? We heard the gibbons, and then we went and see.
Oh, the red shank duke. Well, we saw it from about 500 meters away in the fog. He was looking through his beer fog still.
Oh.
That was early, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
I
stupidly
didn't think
early.
you were going to get up at all for
It was
it.
stupidly
Yeah,
early.
it was early.
But yeah, we barely saw them.
Yeah, we just see them jumping through the trees. didn't
We heard the gibbons though.
But yeah, anyway, going back to the pheasant. Yeah. it's surprisingly big
Yeah.
for a pheasant. I think it's more tail than anything, but
Yeah,
it's surprising. And it is, a very nice.
Useful
looking
in your
bird.
displays, having those big feathers. I mean,
Yeah.
a bit of honour signalling. It's lovely stuff.
Yeah.
What was your opinion? Did you guys have any opinions on it? Because I'm sure there's always a difference between, like, you hear lots of people coming to the park, for example. They're like, oh, I love tigers. They're very cool. Then they finally see Troy the tiger up close, and it's like, oh my goodness, he's massive. Was your opinion change at all when you saw it?
I'll be honest. So I've been to Saigon Zoo before, so that was my second trip to Saigon Zoo, and they had them the first time I was there. Didn't even notice them.
Oh, really?
Did not notice them. They are beautiful birds. They are big, but at the end of the day, they are a brown pheasant, and I've never been a huge sort of aviculturists. I'm more into reptiles and things like that. So, and they've just round the corner from them. They've got an enclosure with like 100 iguanas, and for me, that's
That's
what
more
was always
interesting
more
to you.
exciting. But now that we obviously when we went there this time, we had much more focus on that, and we went looking for them. And actually, it's like a complex of aviaries. There's 10 aviaries or so,
Yeah.
Yeah.
all with them in there.
okay.
And also, I mean, there's maybe even the scary thing is that it's pretty much the entire captive world population of
In one zoo.
one zoo.
Yeah.
Gosh.
They used to be in 2 zoos, so they had them in Hanoi as well. Something happened there, and they all got moved to Saigon.
So it's pretty dire for, I mean, as you said, the Vietnamese pheasant, that's extinct in the wild, but the crested argus is not far behind.
No, I mean, that's critically endangered, and there's a lot more Vietnam pheasants in captivity than there are Vietnam crested argus. But yeah, it's they're doing good work with them. They're looking after them very well. And they're breeding them, but it's always worrying when they're all in one place.
Yes,
Because if you have a disease outbreak or so in that one place, then it's
they're all gone. Yeah, it's quite sad. But it kind of raises a good point, actually, because obviously these are our flagship species for this project. And as you said, they may not be, they have a lovely tail feathers. They're not the most fancy of birds and maybe not the most fascinating of birds. But it's a great example that some of these animals do get left behind because they're not a big tiger or a lovely cuddly bear. Scott, what was your opinion on maybe choosing a bird which maybe not a lot of people know about for this kind of project?
Well, I think it was Markus more that went down the route of choosing the project, but it's...
Do you have an opinion like, oh, was this, okay, we do need to help out this bird, even if it's maybe not so appreciated?
Well, we was already doing work in Vietnam, weren't we, with the World Land Trust, so I think it made sense to stay there.
Yes.
And yeah, for me, it's every species is important, so it doesn't really matter what species you work with, as long as there's a reason behind that. And I think like you've got a lot of the big zoos all look at
So
all
long
the
as
larger animals.
So as long as the right work is going in the right place, that's
Yeah,
that's important for
even
you.
down to like when we went to the reforestation site with the World Land Trust, and everyone they're planting native species trees, and in your head you think, oh, they're just going to plant the trees and that's it. You go off, leave them, they grow, and that's job done. When we got there was all people with trimmers cutting down the weeds around the trees, because if you don't cut back the weeds, they overtake the tree and the trees don't grow.
So just highlighting more about the conservation, it's not just one animal, it's the whole ecosystem that has to be protected for this sort of system to work. But of course, it's also stopping the conflict between this wildlife and the wildlife itself. Luke, did you experience any human-wildlife conflict whilst you were there? I remember seeing on the blog that there were some turtles stacked on top of each other. Did you see any of that?
In the market, there's lots of animals for sale. I'm guessing to eat. You see a lot of that.
Because the soft-shell turtle, I remember when I was doing my research, a lot of people are eating those. They're sort of stacked on top of each other, then you can turn it into a nice dish afterwards. Was that a bit shocking for you, seeing these kind of animals poorly treated and then just becoming a dish somewhere else?
I mean, for us, I've always liked soft-shell turtles. We've got a soft-shell turtle here. But obviously, I've been to Asia many times, so I've seen it a lot of times. And over there, officially, something like 500,000 turtles get farmed every year for food. And sometimes you have to remember that in Vietnam or Thailand or so, their beef might come with a soft shell. It's a different animal for that environment. And sometimes we do have to sort of take that cultural aspect and say, oh, why is it right for us to eat a cow, but it's not fine for them to eat a turtle? But the problem you get is that officially it's 500,000 farmed turtles, but also there's a lot of turtles coming out of rivers.
Right.
And there's no way to distinguish between them. So you still have a huge trade in wild turtles, and that's where the problem is, because you can't tell which one's which. So that's then you blur that line, because obviously we haven't got endangered cows running around in the mendips. So it's much easier with domestic stock.
That's what I was going to say.
Well, I mean, it's always a bit of a difference. As you were saying, there's different diets and different places. You're not always going to have the same animals in the same places for both in terms of your environment and, of course, for your domestic animals as well. But circling back to kind of this enforcement of it, you mentioned earlier that you were trying to calculate the kind of
Fine.
the fine. Yes, thank you
How
for
many
the
dongs it was.
yes, the currency. So, what kind of enforcement do they do for trying to stop this sort of behaviour when it is illegal?
Well, I don't think they can pay the fine, so they're all going to prison.
Oh, right.
It's that high, they can't pay.
Wasn't the fine like 3 months' money or something
No,
like
it was
that?
more than that.
was
I
it
don't
more
think
than
they can
that?
physically afford the fine.
Yeah, so they were going to prison.
Absolute madness.
Yeah, it was that high that you go to prison.
Gosh.
But for lots of things as well. So you can't have a fire in there, so you can't have a barbecue, you can't bring your dog into the forest, you can't do any, you can't do poaching, of course. You can't take plants out the forest, you can't put rubbish in the forest. And they have these massive signs at the side of the road where it's got all these pictures of all the things that you can't do. So and it's not like people aren't getting fair warning.
Yeah.
But there's certain things that people just feel like they have to go into the forest and do.
Well, I think it's down to their
They
livelihood.
don't have
though.
any choice.
Yeah, I think it is their livelihood. If they've got no other way of getting food or money, that's what they're going to do.
As you said, whether willingly or not, there's been a culture of this survival mentality, and it's now become a way of life. To kind of strip them of their way of life is almost cruel in some ways. They're immediately being told what you're doing isn't right, but it's all they've known for such a long time, especially after what the US did to basically force them into that lifestyle. Do you think there's a hope that these people can learn to live alongside nature as much as, to then hopefully support this? Because, of course, there is a environmental trade and environmental tourism that could potentially support this sort of forestry rather than just trying to live off of it.
So there's one of the things which is actually an integral part of our project, I think for years 4 and 5, is supporting financially ways for people to be able to use the forest for sustainable forestry products. So when they're reforesting, for example, they'll put in trees that... So when we were walking into the forest, they showed us trees where they make rattan seats out of.
Oh, right.
There's ones which they were fire retardant, weren't they? Which they use for in houses.
They need to earn money from it.
Yeah. So there's lots of things that they can do that isn't using endangered species. They just need to have the resources to do it, and obviously those plants need to be there.
Do you remember also they took us around and showed us some of the houses that they were looking to do tourism with, weren't they, as well?
Yeah. The what they call
Like a hotel, like B&B, Airbnb.
so and that would be good. And then I think the forest where we're doing our work, they want to do something similar to that tourist trail as well, don't they? They want to have a touristy trail as well. So there's a lot of things that they can do. It's just getting them on board and also giving them those options, because it's all well and good saying, oh, you should do this.
Yeah.
If the only way they can feed their child is to go catch a pheasant, that's what they're going to do.
So that's where this work comes in, to work with the communities rather than antagonize them and say that what you're doing is wrong, but rather this is how we can help both you and the pheasants into the future, so that we can hopefully still have more of them in the wild and enjoy them. Now, I think we talked a little bit doom and gloom, and I want to come back to the 5-year plan as to how Wingham is going to hopefully help us out. But I wanted to ask a few more light-hearted questions, you could say. So what was the biggest goof during the trip? What was the biggest mess up that led to a bit of hilarity between you?
Probably the toilet in the jungle.
Yeah, when Markus went to the toilet and lost his toilet roll. and then I convinced him that there was a toilet in the ranger station.
Only there for
There wasn't.
none.
Oh, there wasn't. There wasn't anything. It was
Plenty
just...
of bushes to go in, mate.
There weren't that many bushes. The problem is I chose the bush.
You chose the
where-
riverside.
And then when I left, I looked around. I thought, well, this is clearly where they go and sit down and do their fishing. So that was a bad choice. And then I lost my toilet paper. Luckily, there was a river for me to wash in. It wasn't good.
You enjoyed your McDonald's, didn't you, on the last day as well?
Spent half my time in the toilet in McDonald's. The problem is we went swimming in a cave, which I loved.
Worst thing ever.
Yeah, it's
Worst
so
thing ever.
cold. The water was freezing.
I do not like cold water, and that was ridiculous. ridiculously cold, and
I'm
he's jumping in there.
so cold.
doing
I've got
bombs
some-
like he's 10.
But I was really enjoying myself. And then for the last one, our guide, he goes, "Oh, jump off this rock as much higher." So I did. And when I went in, I swallowed about half a pint of dirty cave water.
Should have kept your mouth shut.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And I think that's what did it. And on my last day, I spent half the day passed out in my hotel room. And yes, I had to go to the doctors for like 7 weeks after that. So I got home.
I actually sort of took the next question was weirdest toilet situation.
That was the weirdest one.
I mean, the jungle tracks, you're not going to have the luxuries of home, so, but
I don't know how I was. So me and
I
the
never
boss
went to
man,
the toilet in the jungle.
We were the only people who ended up going to the toilet.
Yeah, I
don't
just
know
wait.
how that. No way.
No, because you don't normally go for 7 days, mate. So and then all of a sudden,
There's a
yeah,
big difference
all
when
of a
you know
sudden-
you can't go.
All of a sudden, you get in the weirdest place possible, and you've got to go.
And it wasn't waiting.
Luke saved Pikachu, didn't he, as well? And nearly went down the river. One of the ladies or girls from Viet Nature.
Oh, she nearly got swept away.
And Luke managed to grab her bag and save her because she was very small.
oh gosh.
She'd have
Obviously,
got-
she's really small because I'm not exactly tall.
Well, good a bit of quick thinking and quick action there. Good for you.
Yeah, but that's why I was there to look after my big brother. You see.
Now, of course, Vietnam has lots of different languages and sub-languages within it. Were there any language goofs? Did you ever mistranslate something and get the wrong idea?
I used Google Translate, so I was good.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't speak any. I learnt a couple of words and I've forgotten them. I'm not. But no,
I just point at things and say that.
we were very lucky that we had people around us all the time who
Talking good
there
English.
were at least some people who could translate for us. So
Okay.
otherwise, we'd have been stuck. It goes to show the only day where we didn't have anyone, but 2 days, we had to go eat McDonald's and then we had to go eat KFC because those were the only things we knew.
Rather than branch out and try new food. And I think you actually mentioned you bit into the throat of a chicken. What was the weirdest food that you tried
Was that
there?
your
That
salad?
for you. Was there anything else?
That was
for-
his salad, wasn't it? It was his chicken
yeah.
salad.
We went on
It
a
wasn't a chicken salad, it was a whole chicken that they just chopped up with
It was a chicken.
bones
Yeah,
and
but
feet and-
when you ordered it, it was a chicken salad.
But the table next to us, didn't it, had a whole pig's head.
I've never seen
was
Markus
cold.
spit food out.
There's a whole
ever.
pig's head on the table next to us with the
gosh.
eyeballs and yeah. So it
Oh
was-
yeah, he was chewing on the tongue and everything, wasn't he?
yeah. It's,
But on the last night, we did go on a food tour.
I was going to say that was
on the back
lovely.
of a motorbike.
On the mopeds.
I nearly
That was
fell
good,
off
that.
twice. I had a lady driving me and I was
Well,
bigger than her.
that's
So it
why
was
you
quite
nearly
hard.
fell
Oh,
off.
right. Okay. A bit of imbalance.
Well, the lightest one had to go with us. So obviously that was me out of the three of us.
I was pretty light by that point.
Any other? You could say dances with a toilet. How many other weird things did you eat there? Was
There's
it?
loads of weird things. They'd say, "Oh, let's go have some Vietnamese pizza." It wasn't Vietnamese pizza. It was an omelette with dried prawns, and it was just weird.
I
There was
didn't
some
think it was
weird
that
food.
bad.
I don't like it.
Yeah, it was all right. It was good fun.
like it.
I kept taking pictures of Marcus asleep as well.
Yeah,
He said he don't sleep.
That
so
was weird.
He kept falling asleep, so I kept getting loads of pictures just to show him he does sleep.
I had to just keep staying up till 1 o'clock in the morning filming things.
While we was asleep.
You can find the full blog of that of Marcus doing that. So it's proof that he's done it there.
But even in the tent, I could hear him snoring.
Oh,
Oh, the pair of them.
I didn't hear me snoring.
All of the ladies from Viet Nature were not happy in the morning because these two between them were having a motorbike race and it kept everyone.
All the ladies and Scott.
I slept through it. No, I slept through it. I just woke up in the morning to listen to the racing.
You didn't sleep through it. You recorded it.
Yeah, that was in the morning.
And then moaned like all the ladies.
Well, that comes to the end of our second half. We're going to have one more section after this. We're going to focus more on the 5-year plan and how this is going to affect us. But we're going to take a short break for now and join us in a little bit.
Oh, wrong one.
You hadn't even started it.
Get my tan back on.
Back on. You
Yeah.
need to start it.
Yeah. Well, I'm avoiding the sun most of the time, so you should see how much sun cream I put on.
It looks like it.
Was it as much sun cream as Scott used DEET?
What's
Ooh.
deep?
Scott using DEET for the first time was a sight to behold.
What's that?
Get rid of the
bug
insect
spray that
yeah.
you thought, shall I spray this in my face?
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
no!
I wanted to
That
make sure I
was
didn't get
good.
bit like I am now.
Oh, I remember that.
My brother once went on a trip and was using lots of DEET, and he had a rubber watch. And by the time he'd come back, the DEET had half melted it. So
DEET is horrible.
strong stuff. Yes. So welcome back, everyone. Having a nice conversation about getting rid of all of those insects. Which, well, I mean, I think we're all feeling it now. In
Could
this,
do with some now because I keep getting bitten.
Yeah.
as the evening draws to a close here at Wing and Wildlife Park, and the lovely Vietnam night is drawing to a close as well, we're just going to quickly sum up what this is all about, because of course this is all nice and fun, but it's to raise awareness, of course. So, as I mentioned earlier, there's a 5-year plan to looking after the animals in Vietnam. How's it looking? What's the roadmap for this 5-year plan?
So the first year was pretty much just admin. Second year is so that was looking at the results of the camera traps, and then we're now in year 3, aren't we?
Yeah.
So this is going to be a second year of camera trap work, and that's then going to lay the ground, the foundations for years 4 and 5.
Right.
And most of that is going to be using that information to do outreach, and as I said, doing work for helping people figure out other sustainable ways that they can use the forest, and also laying the foundations for the Vietnam pheasant. Then we'll see where it goes after that, because it's a really nice partnership to have, and it'd be nice to continue it further than just those first 5 years.
And of course, this is all happening in situ in Vietnam. Is there going to be any more conservation related to Vietnam here in the park?
I'd love to have Chris and Markus here. I've got some plans, whether or not they come to fruition or not, I'd like to have a nice exhibit where we can show off some Vietnamese architecture, some plants, animals, all those sorts of things. Because one of the things that Tony would really want is, because obviously we've got the Vietnam pheasant in the tropical house, but we've just got one boy who is the stud book. Sorry?
Seen his best days, or
Not just that, but also for the stud book, it's so he came to us from outside the stud book, so his lineage isn't as well known as they would like, because obviously when you're sending animals back to the wild, you want to know exactly what their lineage is.
yes?
So we would like to have maybe 2 or 3 pairs to do breeding, because we know that we can breed them. We've bred them plenty of times in the past. We've moved youngsters on to other zoos, and that's one of the things that we'd like to do with that.
So there's some goals and some future things that we want to be a part of more so in the future, and hopefully bring the attention to Vietnam and its conservation a bit more, and hopefully this podcast will help illuminate a little bit of that, and hopefully you've seen what it can potentially do now in Vietnam for yourselves. But I think let's wrap up this lovely podcast. I think we've all been bitten a little bit by a few too many insects. So just a few questions. So now that you've been, you missed out on a few bits of wildlife. Is there any animal you wanted to see in Vietnam that you missed and you want to go back and see?
All of them.
Well, I know, as you said.
Some would be nice.
Yeah.
So one of the things that really disappointed me was, so not so much for me, because I've been lucky enough down in the south of Vietnam, I've seen white-cheeked gibbons in the wild. So they were really up close. There was a family of them, there was a baby, it was all sorts. And one of the things which I really wanted for these two was to see white-cheeked gibbons. And we heard them, but we didn't get to see them. And it would have been nice to have seen them, because that's really special. But yeah, that would have been it for me, but I don't know about these two.
Yes. Scott, Luke, do you have any animals you wanted to see down there?
I just wanted to see some animals, I think,
Just some.
to sum it all up, really, for me. I was expecting to see a buoyant forest, and it was full of
Pheasant would have
cowpats
been
and leeches. I
Wing
think.
and Wildlife Park.
But we did,
discover the Vietnam.
to be fair, we did see when we went back into the jungle, I nearly walked straight into a web, and the guide that was with us stopped me, and then it found me going in a backwards direction, and Markus and Luke running forwards with their cameras out trying to take
Oh,
photos.
that was good.
What
it
sort of
was-
spider was that?
A scary one. one I was walking backwards from because it was the size of my face.
I wouldn't go that far. It was a very nice sized orb weaver. Really, really nice. But it definitely wasn't the size of his head. There's no spider that's as big as his head.
No, but a big spider nonetheless.
I mean, his head is really
Big enough.
So unfortunately that just highlights this need for this conservation work. But apart from the nature, is there anything you want to go back and see in Vietnam that you didn't get to see? Maybe some historical or maybe some cultural aspect of the country you didn't get to see?
Again, there's another thing which I wanted to show them in Saigon, but although we sort of got to see it anyway in the demilitarized zone, which was so we went to a museum there which showed the impact of Agent Orange and all those sorts of things. And we were going to go to the War Museum in Saigon, but I was in the hotel room losing £15, so we didn't get to go there in the end.
A new weight loss treatment there.
We had to drink beer instead.
For all they know, I could have been dying. I mean, he even said, "You read one of my messages and I didn't hear from you for 4 hours," because I might have been dead. But no.
But did you die?
No.
No, so
You made it.
There's a lot of people in the office building opposite who saw a naked Englishman on the bed, though, that they didn't need to see.
I wouldn't have thought they were a naked Englishman. It would have looked worse than that.
Yeah.
Luke, what about you? Was there anything you wanted to see that maybe you didn't fully get to see it, or is there something you completely missed and you want to come back and see?
Nah.
Are you quite content that you've seen everything in Vietnam that
Yeah.
you wanted to see?
Yeah, I'm done.
I guess maybe these trips aren't for anyone, but how about you, Scott? Was there anything you wanted to go back and see?
I'd like to go back to the breeding centre, the Vietnamese breeding centre, and see how that's getting on. Because obviously when we went there, only the education building was done. So it'd be quite nice to see it full up with animals, I suppose, getting ready to get them re-released back into the areas we were looking after, helping protect.
And I think this will be a good one because I think maybe people might be interested to see Vietnam for themselves, if not for the nature, but for the culture. What would be your top tip for travelling to Vietnam? Let's start with Markus, and then we'll go to Luke and Scott.
Don't be afraid of the traffic.
Don't be afraid
So
of
what you have to do when you're in Vietnam and you want to cross the road is forget all rules you ever learnt about crossing the road. Kids don't do this. Honestly, don't do this in the UK. But in Vietnam, if you want to cross the road, you cross the road. The way we had it explained to us is that no Vietnamese person can afford to hit an Englishman. So they will do whatever they can to go around. But also the traffic moves really slowly. There's so many motorbikes.
It looks worse than it is, doesn't it?
I think Saigon or Hanoi is called the city of a million motorbikes or so.
Can I add to the crossing the road in Vietnam?
Oh, okay.
Seriously, it is the best thing you could ever do.
What,
when
cross
I
the
was
road?
crossing the road, when I was in Vietnam with Jackie would stay on the side of the motorbikes, and then these American people are going, "Follow him, he knows what he's doing." I ain't got a clue. You just got to walk out.
Basically, what he does in life, he hasn't got a clue and just goes for
You'll
it.
wade through it like a river, just go past the stream.
Although on the way to the last McDonald's, I did nearly get hit by that Jeep, didn't I?
Yes, because cars don't follow the same rules as mopeds.
Oh, right, okay.
It was quite a fast road.
So, trust your instinct, just go across the road, just...
No, forget your instincts.
Oh, forget the instinct.
Yeah, your instinct is going to tell you to stop. So don't slow down. You move at a steady speed, and you will get across that road.
If you wait-
in Vietnam, not here.
If you wait in Vietnam, you'll never get across the road.
Because we took that lady, didn't we? We took her back to her family. Do you remember? She was stuck on one side and we crossed her back over and crossed her back.
Did ya?
It's like you expanded on that story.
Good Samaritan.
He took that lady. Yeah.
Luke, any top tips for travelling, either just through Vietnam or maybe a jungle tip?
Nah, not really.
No?
Yeah.
What about avoiding those leeches? Plenty of beer.
Yeah. I don't have any tips.
No?
No.
You're just happy you survived.
Find out for yourself.
Fair enough. You made it though, at the very least. Scott, what about you? Do you have any top tips for travelling through Vietnam?
I think trying a bit of the culture, trying their food.
But no special, just enjoying what you can whilst you're there.
Yeah,
Of
I
course,
think so.
it's a very different place, of course, to the UK. We're used to our things down here, and I think many of us probably travel maybe Mediterranean at most. So it's a completely different
A
country.
different experience.
Yeah. So
But I would really recommend it to people.
Yeah,
It's
100%.
an incredible place to go on holiday. It's not that expensive. If you want to go further, it's a reasonable price place to go.
It's a good experience.
it
I mean,
really
I've got
is.
to go back because my wife wants to go. She was very upset that I've gone and she hasn't, so I've got to go back.
So the people are lovely. They're such nice people. You don't. It's not a place where you go and you feel unsafe.
So now that you've met them, and now you've met the conservationists behind this project, you feel confident that we can do some good work with this 5-year project
Yeah.
And beyond.
and beyond.
Definitely.
Amazing. Well, thank you very much for joining me.
So, Harry,
Oh, very quickly. Yes.
let's ask them what they're going to do in India.
Oh, India.
Are the three going to India next?
So Tony has just asked a good question. So India might be the next trip on these guys' bucket lists. Have you got anything planned yet, or are you?
No, Marcus, you got anything planned?
Yeah,
'Cause I just
Marcus.
turn up.
We've got no.
Marcus gets a sheet and says we're going here, and I turn up.
Me and Luke turn up with our passports.
I love an itinerary.
I mean, I only
I
go
do
to look
love
after my
itinerary.
brother, but
How often does the itinerary work? How often do you stick to it?
Oh, all the time.
we stick to it.
Line by line.
We stick to it. Unless Marcus is sick in bed, we're doing what's on that bit of paper. If he's sick in bed, we get a free night.
Why India? Why is that next on the
I
trip?
thought it was just holiday.
On Dad.
So we have just started a new project in India. So again, with a local small group out there, small partner. So another sending money out to some guy we don't know. But no, it's a charity called the Eastern Ghats Wildlife Conservation Project, I think. Something along those lines. But what they're doing is they are specifically working with us for the Gucci ornamental tarantula.
Of course, we have a big breeding program here, don't we?
Yeah, so we've got loads which we got from UK Customs. They got smuggled into the country. So I'm the stud keeper for them, and we're doing a big genetic project with them as well, with University of Kent. So we've invested a lot in this species. And the next step for that is we don't know an awful lot about what Gucci ornamentals do in the wild, where they live, what they get up to. So we want to change that. And even within, I think, the first 3 days, I think, of us starting the project, we got a photo. They'd found one of those tarantulas sort of 40 kilometres out of where originally we thought that they lived. So it's already having some results. And the goal for that trip to India will be for us to go.
Survive.
We want to see a Gucci tarantula.
There's not good
Well,
stories.
I was going to say.
I think Marcus and Luke want to go and play with cobras.
There's not good stories that come out of India.
Yeah.
No, I've been to India. I haven't got any good stories.
There's
Well,
no-
I was just thinking that you had that run-in with the spider in Vietnam. Are you going to happy to now tread directly to find more spiders in the
Cobras.
wild?
So yeah, so the guy that we partnered up with, he specialises in king cobras. He's promised me that he'll take us to see some king cobras, so that will make my
That's worth
year.
the trip.
Yeah, 100%.
Fair enough.
And the tarantulas just so happen to also live where the tigers live. So
All right. So, yeah. So,
Even
whoa,
more
okay.
bonus.
So, lots of cool animals.
as a group of poachers once found out,
Okay. So, quite the complex.
you
trip
reap
then.
what you sow.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like a fascinating trip. I can't wait to hear more about it and the conservation work behind it as well. I'm afraid I think that's about time that what we need to wrap up for. So thank you very much for joining us here at Wing and Wildlife Park. Thank you for joining us on the Vietnam night, which I think has gone down without a hitch. It's been absolutely amazing seeing everyone walking around after hours. Thank you also for listening to What's Up with Zoo. If you want to catch more of our lovely videos, please follow our YouTube channel and you can see more cool stuff on our other social medias. But until next time, have a lovely evening and we will all see you later. Bye-bye.
And before we do go, I don't know if you want to just spin the camera around as well. She's refusing to come over here, but we've got Larice over there. She's hiding now. And Joanna, and they've organised tonight.
The
Really
two
well.
ginger ones.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thanks, Joanna.
Thank you.
Thanks, Reese.
Right.
I'd say more Reese because Janet don't do a lot.